Just know that they're being appreciated. Thanks, everybody. And Alex, I will shut up now. It's your
turn. Thank you, Karen. Today I will introduce the Hermitage collection. The Hermitage Museum contains over 3 million items, and it's impossible to review all of them, of course. And I will concentrate on the old masters, the paint swollen. All right. The main collections were acquired by Catherine the Great from wealthy European collectors and the royalty which fell in poverty. These are buildings of the Hermitage, the Winter Palace, which will be first, the small Hermitage. It is a building which has a significance because Catherine the Great ordered to build it for her new collection of art, and she wanted to be alone with it. This is why it's called the Hermitage, the place of solitude. Ironically, it became the name of the second largest museum in the world. The building of the new Hermitage was erected as a space specifically exhibit a new art. It's perfectly designed for it. And finally, the Hermitage Theater. It used to be Imperial Theater, and now it's the third stage of opera and ballet in St. Petersburg. We are going to enter the Winter Palace through the formal staircase. It's built in Baroque style, richly decorated in gold and marble. These marble stairs knew the imperial shoes from Empress Anne to the last emperor, Nicholas II. They felt the light touch of the feet of elegant ladies as they arrived to the imperial ball, and the heavy stomping of muddy boots as revolutionary Bolsheviks overthrew the last government of Imperial Russia. This is ceremonial hall, richly decorated and gilded columns and white marble, the end of Trump. And this is a front room. It's quite small room, relatively speaking. It's richly decorated. You can see the throne and the large painting of Peter the Great, led by allegorical figure, pointing him to new victories and achievements. The formal part of the Winter Palace is richly decorated. Built in the rooms are full of treasures. This one is Malachite room, containing many objects of art from semi-precious stone malachite. It all speaks of opulence and glamour. Now we are going to see the art. We are going through Raphael's loggias that contain copies of frescoes from the Vatican City. In this presentation, I've had, now it sounds. In this presentation, I have chosen to focus on selected artists from the Hermitage collection, of those who are most important in the development of Western art. I will supplement the Hermitage collection with examples from other museums that best represent these remarkable artists. First, I want to introduce Giotto di Bandoni, known as Giotto, who was an Italian painter and architect from Florence during the late Middle Ages and Renaissance period. Giorgio Vasari, who is regarded the first art historian and also was a remarkable painter, described Giotto as making a decisive break from the prevalent Byzantine style. According to Vasari, Giotto initiated the great art of painting, introducing the technique of drawing accurately from life which had been neglected for hundreds of years. And this is an example of Italian Gothic painting before Giotto. It's a very static, similar to Byzantine icons. And this is a breaks. The fresco from Scrovegni Chapel in Padua, Italy. You can see dynamism. The people are moving, the Christ clenching his fist, ready to hit somebody. I don't know exactly topic of this fresco, but it's a breakthrough. You can see the difference. And this is a dawn of Renaissance at the end of the 13th century. One of the major figures of the Renaissance period is Leonardo da Vinci, a Renaissance painter, inventor, architect, and humanitarian. And I started with La Gioconda, Mona Lisa. The painting depicted the Italian noblewoman Lisa del Gioconda. Leonardo never gave the painting to the Gioconda family. King Francis I of France acquired the Mona Lisa after Leonardo died in 1519, and later it became property of the French Republic. It has been on display at the Louvre in Paris since 1797. The painting's global fame and popularity partially stems from its 1911 theft by Vincenzo Peruggi, who attributed his actions to Italian patriotism and belief that it should belong to Italy. The theft and the subsequent recovery in 1914 generated unprecedented publicity, leading to publications of numerous cultural depictions, including the song Mona Lisa, recorded by the Nat King Cole. I'm sure you know it. Leonardo's paintings are characterized by lyrical expressions, as you can see here, and to these two remarkable paintings. He departed from painting saints to the painting of not ordinarily noble people, but nevertheless without halos. And you can see here the depictions of these examples. He was interested in anatomy and science. This is his famous Vitruvian Man, a perfect example of proportion of human, inspired by Roman architect Vitruvius. Because of its fragility, the drawing was shown only once outside of Venice. At the retrospective, we note the 500th anniversary of Leonardo's death at the Louvre in 2019. I was fortunate to attend this amazing exhibition. These are examples of his anatomical studies. The dissection of, I think, women's organs. And this is a design for a flying machine, with wings based closely upon the structure of a bat's wing. He has a lot of other drawings of flying machines. He was much ahead of his time, many centuries. And this is painted from the Hermitage, Madonna Lita. Leonardo did not put halos about the heads of Madonna and a child. She is just a beautiful young Italian woman, admiring her baby boy as he enjoys her meal. The woman's fine clothes, masterfully depicted by Leonardo, reflect her status as a noble woman. Her gowns will echoes in the sky and the windows, a perfect composition. The second painting in the Hermitage, Madonna Benoit. It was one of the first paintings completed by Leonardo da Vinci. It was bought by the Russian government from Benoit's family. You can see on it, I would say, two children. A young woman or a girl, 15 years old, playing with her baby and flowers. The Benoit's Madonna has proved to be one of Leonardo's most popular works. It was extensively copied by young painters, including Raphael in his Madonna of the Pinks. And this is Raphael's painting. You can recognize similarities, although Raphael sensibly increased age of this Madonna to appropriate for childbearing. Another painter of the Renaissance, Tiziana Picellio, known as Titian, but the most important Venetian artist of the Renaissance. Titian was an exceptionally versatile Italian painter, equally adept with portrait, landscapes, and mythological and religious subjects. His painting methods, particularly in the application of colors, exerted a profound influence on future generations of Western artists. And this is his self-portrait. The Hermitage has 12 paintings by this remarkable artist, including masterpieces like the Martyrdom of Saint Sebastian. Saint Sebastian is one of Titian's most striking works in terms of his tragic spirit. It demonstrates defiance against the rulers. These are two other paintings from the Hermitage. The first one, the portrait of a young woman. She obviously a model trying to cover her semi-nakedness with expensive fur coat. To me, she doesn't have a particular expression in her face. In contrast, Penitent Magdalene is a highly emotional painting. Magdalene praying to God to forgive her from her sin. Her eyes full of tears, and she's holding her arm at the heart. A very emotional painting, a masterpiece. This is a story about Danae. Disappointed with his lack of male heirs, King Acrisius asked the oracle of Delphi if this would change. The oracle told him that he would never have a son, but his daughter Danae would, and that this grandson would one day kill him, meaning to prevent the prophecy from coming true. Acrisius shut her into a bronze chamber. However, Zeus desired Danae and came to her in a form of golden rain that streamed into Danae's lap, impregnated her. Soon after, Perseus was born. This is a fragment of an ancient Greek vase depicting Danae from the Louvre and Golden Ring. And this is a famous masterpiece from the Hermitage, Danae. You can see Danae lying naked in kind of sensual pose, and the golden rain is falling from the top. An elderly woman trying to prevent this action. But nevertheless, it's falling between your legs, and you know the result. In 1516, Titian completed his masterwork, The Assumption of the Virgin, for the high altar of the Basilica di Santa Maria Gloriosa in Venice. It is his largest single panel. This piece of colorism, executed on a grand scale, rarely before seen in Italy, created a sensation. I visited this church in Venice, and I can confirm it is sensational. And this is another Italian painter, Michelangelo Merisi de Caravaggio, known as Caravaggio. He was Italian Baroque painter, active in Rome for most of his artistic life. His paintings combine realistic observations of the human state, both physical and emotional, with a dramatic use of lighting. And actually, he pioneered that use of lighting in a shade. You can see here the famous lute player from the Hermitage. The light illuminates his face, his body, hands, and the music. This young man was identified as Caravaggio's companion, Maria Miniti. He was subject of many paintings, for example, this, the Bacchus, and the young man holding the fruit basket. And this is an interesting painting, the card players. The three people, too young, playing cards. The young fellow in brown jacket holding his cards and seriously looking at them. Another one holding cards behind his back, ready to cheat. And the third, the older guy, looking over the cards of the first one and showing to the second one what he sees. And if you look in a self-portrait of Caravaggio, you immediately recognize that the third person is Caravaggio himself. He didn't hesitate to show his face as it is cheating games. In fact, Caravaggio had a bad temper. He was often involved in fights. He was a gambler, cheating on games, and being in Rome, Caravaggio committed a murder in drunken brawl. To escape persecution, Caravaggio spent the final 4 years of his life moving between Naples, Malta, and Sicily. This is his drawing, not the killing, but just drawn painting with a dramatic use of light. And this is a fragment of a painting from church in Rome. I want you to appreciate his genius as a painter. Diego Velázquez was the leading artist in the court of King Philip IV and the Spanish Golden Age. He is considered one of the greatest painters in the history of Western art. There's a lot of text here, so this is his most famous painting, the Menenius, the Ladies in Waiting. The painted composition is complex, with a multifaceted perspective. You can envision it, first it's kind of too many, busy, but you can envision if you put figures on a chessboard in a perspective, you can recognize this deep, complex perspective. The central figure at the 5-year-old Infanta Margherita Teresa, daughter of the king and his second wife, Maria Anna. The child is flanked by 2 minimus ladies in waiting. The central group can be viewed as a separate painting with its perfect composition of a triangle, high in the right and low in the left. Also present at the foreground, the 2 dwarfs with a large dog. The little dog touches the dog, adding a playful aspect to the painting. Velázquez showed himself at the easel. This is a high honor to be allowed to be present in such painting. Las Meninas has fascinated many artists who were especially drawn to Velázquez's sense of perspective, his brushwork, and the interplay of light and shade. This is a large magnification of the central figures, and you can appreciate the differences in brush strokes and their faces, hairs, and clothes. And this is a painting from the Hermitage at lunchtime. 3 fellows finishing lunch, not much food left, but they are very happy. They have a lot of drink. I found this another painting, an old woman frying eggs. When you see both paintings, you recognize the young fellow, the same fellow holding a flask with drink. He's waiting for eggs to be prepared for lunch, the kind of sequel of paintings. And I would like to commend the interplay of light and shade. And finally, I want to show Venus. Venus, the goddess of love, reclines on her bed. The elegant curve of her body echoes the sweep of satin fabric. The period of tones of her smooth skin contrast with the rich colors and brushstrokes of the curtains and sheets. A masterpiece, one of the most elegant nude ever created. This is Esteban Murillo, a 17th century artist. Is one of the 3 most prominent painters of the Spanish Golden Age, alongside Velázquez and Zurbarán. This is a large painting from the Hermitage, the rest on flight into Egypt. presented pose in one of the most dramatic episodes of the New Testament. The work captured the Holy Family, and they briefly stopped during the escape from the King Herod persecution. Rather than focusing on terror or hardship, really chooses a moment of tenderness. The painting is filled with warm light, soft colors, and gentle gestures. Murillo focused on ordinary kids, unlike Velasquez, who painted royal kids. And this is a remarkable painting from the Hermitage. A boy smiling at the boy, though you can see that he's from a simple background. His sleeve is ripped, but he is very happy. Another painting I like a lot. Street kids playing a game and a young boy thinking about something, eating bread. This paintings warm my heart. The third painter from Spain, Francisco Zurbarán. His paintings, most of his paintings, characterized by austere religion overtones, and they're almost markable. He spent a lot of time painting Saint Francis. You can see one of these paintings in brown, and also his self-portrait. Zurbarán is praying to God for inspiration, but he doesn't need a gift from God. He is very talented anyway. And this is his other paintings. The Birth of the Virgin from the Norton Simon Museum in Pasadena. And like this, but he doesn't have effort like do this. And the monk holding his other hand. Overall, the atmosphere is of terror and despair. After the Napoleonic Wars and internal turmoil of the changing Spanish government, Goya developed an ambivalent attitude towards mankind. He had an acute first-hand awareness of panic, terror, and hysteria. He had survived two near-fatal illnesses and grew increasingly anxious in fear of relapse. The combination of these factors had led to the creation of the black paintings. He created 14 black paintings, some of them pretty horrible, like the Jupiter eating his son. I don't want to show it. It's gruesome. And I show this one, Witches' Sabbath. In this disturbing painting, a crowd of frightened elderly women surrounds a large figure wearing a black goat's costume. The atmosphere is tense, reflecting the artist's mood. So you can imagine 14 of these paintings like this. Overall, I'm sure you're convinced that Goya is one of the greatest painter of Western art. Now we're going to see Flemish Baroque. Peter Paul Rubens. Now this is a hall of large paintings by Rubens. Sir Peter Paul Rubens is considered the most influential painter of Flemish Baroque tradition. Rubens' highly charged composition reference classical and Christian history, His unique Baroque style emphasized movement, color, and sensuality. At the peak of his career, Rubens was enormously popular, a must-have artist among royalty and nobility. The Hermitage has 22 paintings by Rubens, a real treasure. This is one of them, masterpiece, Perseus and Andromedas. Perseus is, if you remember, Perseus is son of Danae and Zeus, the half-god. He freed Andromeda from captivity from Medusa. He decapitated Medusa and her head on his shield here. Two Cupids freeing Andromeda from ropes. She is naked and she is blushing at the touch of Perseus' hand. And he looks at her with desire, and they will be married. There are two other paintings here from the Hermitage, the union of earth and water. Unlike Perseus and Andromeda, the earth is ready for union. You can see her straight glance at water. The painting is decorated, all attributes of Baroque painting. And another is Bacchus. Rubens' Bacchus is quite a beast. He's indulged into drinking, eating, and this shows in this painting. Just remember Bacchus by Caravaggio, very different. And this is dramatic triptych by Rubens, Crucifixion. You can appreciate the extent and art of this remarkable painting. Oops. Sorry. This is self-portrait of Rubens. The little girl tenderly holding his father's hand and looking with adoration at him. But he doesn't pay any attention at her. He's self-absorbed. He's famous, rich, and talented. He's full of himself. This is my interpretation. Another painter from Flemish Baroque is Sir Anthony van Dyck. He was a Flemish Baroque painter who became the leading court painter in England after success in the Spanish Netherlands and Italy. The Hermitage has astounding 24 paintings by Van Dyck. This is one of this painting, the portrait of Charles I, King of Great Britain. If you remember history, Charles I lost his head in the English Revolution led by Cromwell. And this is two other portraits from the Hermitage. The formality of portraits overbalanced with the exotic Baroque style curtains. Remarkable portraits. And this is Van Dyck, different kind of painting, Samson and Delilah. I want to bring this famous opera by Saint-Saëns, Samson and Delilah. An aria known in English, "My heart opens itself to your voice." Delilah sings it in Act 2 as she attempts to seduce Samson and to reveal in revealing the secret of his strengths, and she succeeded. And when he slept, she cut his hairs, and he realized he lost his powers. He was captured by Philistines, and he clenched his fist trying to hit Delilah, and she is praying for forgiveness. The painting and story about love and betrayal. And this is a collection of Rembrandt. The Hermitage has one of the most extensive collections of Rembrandt paintings in the world. This is his exhibition in the new Hermitage. I want to commend the quality of the exhibition, the perfect museum space. Rembrandt, known as was a Dutch Golden Age painter, is considered one of the greatest visual artists in the history of Western art. It is estimated that Rembrandt's surviving work amounts about 300 paintings, 300 etchings, and several hundred drawings. Rembrandt was a master of light. He was influenced by Caravaggio, although they never met. In this famous painting, The Holy Family, you can see the light illuminating the face, Mary's face, the child, and the angel. Your husband in a shadow. He is no longer important. And this is a painting by Rembrandt Denier. I want to compare it with Titian one. The more dramatic light in Rembrandt painting, but it's less sensual. Denier by Titian is waiting for golden rain, but Rembrandt's no golden rain is seen. Both are masterpieces. And this is Saskia, wife, Rembrandt's wife, as Flora, the goddess of flowers. The painting had a tragic time in the Hermitage. In 1985, it was attacked with sulfuric acid and was cut several times. Although the restoration was partially successful, much of the original painting was lost. Such a tragedy. And these Rembrandt self-portraits were from the Hermitage. The young Rembrandt expressed shyness. He is not looking up straight at you, look attentive. His glance conveys shyness. In contrast, older Rembrandt is looking direct at you. His expression is full of wisdom. His face is illuminated by light, so as his graying hairs, masterfully depicted by Rembrandt. And this is a story of prodigal son. This is a painting from not from Hermitage, but important from the story. The prodigal son in the brothel is a rich, young, well-dressed person, and a young woman sitting on his lap. He's happy drinking, but his finances soon were drawn, and he returned to his father. And he answered to his father, "Listen, for all these years I have been working like a slave for you, and I have never disobeyed your commands. Yet you have never given me the young goat so that I might celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours came back, who has squandered your sex with prostitutes. You killed the fatted calf for him. And this is the magic return of the prodigal son, the painting in the Hermitage. It's expressed love, regret, and forgiveness. This lightly illuminates the face of aging father. He's sad. He forgave his son. Another person whose face is illuminated is probably his brother. There is all this resemblance between two of them. He is not amused. He's just looking straight. And depicting the moment of a prodigal son's return to his father in this biblical parable. This renowned work described a picture which those who have seen the original in St. Petersburg may be forgiven for claiming as the greatest painting ever created. And that's all. We are living the Hermitage from the different exit from the new Hermitage. And this exit decorated with giant granite atlases called in Portuguese. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. I have to apologize. There was one more thing I meant to say in thanking people for the roles they've played over the years in making this a really successful program. We had an interesting earthquake preparedness presentation in October. Nancy Falconer was the one who kind of organized it, but it had a very large cast of people, and we heard some true-to-life earthquake stories, and also we got introduced to the floor captains who are going to help us if we ever, hope not, have some kind of natural disaster or earthquake. And the people who took part in that are Alice and Dan Dews, Amelia Trowbridge, Ann Moonberg, Barb Donat, Doug Johnson, Glenda Jorgensen, Joan Langley, Masha Kushner, Michaelin Nichols, Nancy Falconer, the lead organizer of this PAM Center, Pat Charleston, Pat Walker, Prue Dalrymple, and Stephanie Rodden, and I hope I didn't leave anybody out. It's been quite a successful year. Thank you, Alex, for ending it on a strong note. And beginning next year, Roger Heffelfinger is going to be the debut presentation for 2026.
What is the topic?
What are you going to talk about? You're going to talk about the sort of an autopsy of the last election.
What I'm going to talk about is...
Thank you, Sam.
What my subject, quickly, on the night of November 5th, 2024.
Turn the lights on.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
On the night of November 5th, 2024, I sat in my apartment completely dumbfounded that this guy that we knew so much about had been re-elected President of the United States. And I realized at that point, I really wasn't clear how this possibly could have happened. And so I made it a point to find out. And I think I have the answer, and that's the answer is what I'm going to be talking about.
And how do you undo it?
Okay, does anyone have comments or questions for Alex? We're gonna have him back next year too.
You showed a lot of the few Dutch paintings.
Yeah.
Was that your choice, or are there not that many in the Elgin?
Well, they're remarkable and significant for the development of Western art. So that's my role. I think that's art. It's a very significant contributor to the Western world art. And so it's important to show it. That's
Well, I think you showed relatively little of the Dutch art. You showed Rembrandt, but I mean, there's not.
well, there's so many, as I said, it will be selected.
Oh, that's my Dutch speaker, just
It's okay, Lorraine, we all know that the Netherlands has produced some of the greatest. Okay, coming.
Alex, why do you think the Bolsheviks did not ransack the Hermitage?
They did not, but after the revolution, the new Soviet government sold 250 paintings from the Hermitage. And in fact, Andrew Mellon purchased on behalf of American government many of them, and the part of Hermitage collection served as foundation for American National Gallery of Art in Washington, D.C.
Probably soon to be named the Trump Gallery of Art. Yes. Well, thanks for a great year. I look forward to another great one.